everybody, it's Jamie from Play to Learn Preschool. I'm on at another weird time. Life has just gotten a little crazy after school, but I wanted to jump on because we've had some really good books and activities that we're doing with our preschoolers this week, and I really wanted to share them with you. So here I am in Eastern time, like dinner time. So I hope that it's a good time for most people. If not, maybe you can catch the replay. So this whole month of September with our preschoolers, we've really been focusing on strategies and routines and procedures and things in our classroom, as well as how to be a good student and a good friend and all of those other things. I wrote on our thematic units of study or whatever that we were studying books, our favorite books or books we love. I can't remember exactly what I titled it, which is just basically to say we're working on routines and procedures in September, and I'm using a lot of picture books to teach what they need to know. So I've shared a few of those already so far this month, but I wanted to take this opportunity to share with you 5 of the books that we read with our preschoolers, specifically talking about how to be a good friend. Because as we all know, if your students mesh well, if they're compassionate, understanding, loving, and kind toward each other, the rest of the school year is a breeze. If you have kids who are constantly at each other's throats, if they're constantly, you know what I mean, like just constantly on top of each other, not being compassionate, not being caring, not like they don't have that strong classroom community, that common bond of we're a group, we're a team, we're a family here in this classroom, then every single other thing that we want to teach is just really a struggle because they don't have that, they don't mesh well. So we spend a lot of time in September trying to teach them all these things that they need to know to be a successful member of our classroom. And this past week, we were really talking about what it looks like, what it sounds like, what it feels like to be a good friend. And that's a lot of talk, right? There's nothing you can really touch for that. It's not like I can pull out a basket of pine cones and then we can talk about pine cones, because being a good friend is really something that's in your head and it's in your heart, and that's a really hard thing for preschoolers to understand. Or to talk about, especially if they're not as verbal. So we use a lot of picture books to use that as a springboard for discussion about being a good friend. And then I also pull them out in those teachable moments when they're talking to each other, when they're interacting, when they're negotiating during centers. And I might pull it out and be like, oh, remember we read something similar in our book and this is what happened. Or does this remind you of anything we read about in our book? And we can use those teachable moments to really drive home that idea of, in this classroom, we have to act as good friends. So here are 5 of my favorites. I'm gonna hope that they don't fall off my lap. We'll see. So the first one is called Stick and Stone. Are you familiar with this book? It's by Beth, Ferry. I'll leave links to everything in the video description after I'm done. It's easier for me to do it after the video is posted than before. And if you're not familiar with this book, it's perfect. It's the perfect introduction to being a friend, especially for your youngest students. You could even read this book to 2-year-olds. It's really good. So it's Stick and Stone, and in this story, it's a very simple book, almost a wordless picture book. There are words, but the story is told through the pictures. So it's stick, stone, lonely, alone. And we talk about what that does it feel like when you're alone, when you're maybe by yourself. Do you like feeling like it, when you're by yourself? Or do you like being by yourself or playing by yourself? Sometimes kids say yes, which is fine. A 0, a 1. Alone is no fun. Poor Stone is trying to ride the teeter-totter and nobody's on the other side. How cute is that? Stick, stone, along comes Pine Cone. Now Pine Cone, you'll notice here, he's not being a very good friend. He makes fun of Stone. And we can even talk about, like, what does Stone's face look like? Can you make a face like that? Oh, he looks scared. He looks unhappy because Pinecone is teasing him. Has that ever happened to you? Won't leave him alone. Oh, poor Stone. He's so sad. Vanish, says Stick. His word does the trick. Look They said, you can't be mean to us, and Pinecone walked away. Stone whispers, gee, you stuck up for me. That's just what sticks do. Friends do it too. Stick, stone, no longer alone. Now look at their faces. How do they feel when they're being kind to each other? Can you show me a happy face like that? Stick, stone, a friendship has grown. What are they doing? Look, blowing bubbles. They wander, explore, laze by the shore. Look at them just hanging out watching those dolphins. Then thunder and rain. A loud hurricane. Oh no, look. I'm sorry, the camera's hard for me. Stone is blowing away. Stick is blowing away, but not stone. But they look so afraid, don't they? Because of all the wind and the rain. The next one is my favorite page. Stick is wind blown. There goes Pinecone. Hold on, calls out Stone. Again, he's alone. Maybe it's not the next page. A couple more pages. This one. Search all day, and look, little Stone is yelling, Stick, stick, stick. And search all night. No stick in sight. What's this? A huge puddle? Stick stuck in the muddle, and look, he's upside down. And he yells, oh, help! Oh, I love picture books. Stone rescues him quick. Cowabunga, kersploosh. You rock, Stone, says Stick. That's just what stones do. Best friendships rock too. Stick, stone, together again. Stick, stone, a perfect 10. Here comes Pinecone to the end. And then the Pinecone joins them and he says, I'm sorry I needled you so much. This is such a good book for your very youngest, for our very youngest students to talk about. What did Stick do for Stone? Oh, the Pinecone was being mean to him, so he stuck up for him. He said, don't be mean to my friend. And then what did Stone do for Stick? He helped him when he needed help. He'd fallen down and Stone helped him up. That's what friends do. After we read this book, I love to do a little art activity. I buy a bag of river rocks at the home improvement store, like at Home Depot. I think they're like 20, it's a huge bag, like 20 pounds, and they're these giant rocks. You could go looking for rocks, but listen, I'm a busy person. I'm in a busy season of my life. I've got 4 kids, and I didn't have time to go look for 20 rocks. So I bought some at the Home Depot, but do whatever works for you and your resources. And then the students could go pick out a stone after we read this book during morning circle time. They could pick out a stone and paint it and make like a little rock, pet rock, or a little stone friend, we've been calling them. So I just gave them, these are acrylics because they show up better, but you could use tempera paint or whatever. So the kids picked out their rock from the bucket, painted their rock, and then when they're dry, of course, Gemma and I will Mod Podge them, and they can add some googly eyes. You could draw a little face on there too if you want. But then they can take their stone, their little pet rock, home and talk to their parents about what it means to be a good friend. What did Stone do for Stick, and what did Stick do for Stone? Sometimes when we give our kids something to hold on to, it will help them remember what we read and what we talked about. So giving them a little something like this cute little pet rock, then their parents will say, why, tell me about your rock. I've had the preschoolers say, it's not a rock, it's a stone. And they can just talk to their parents about the story, and then it will help them remember what Stick and Stone did for each other to be good friends. So that's one of my favorite little easy peasy art projects, process art projects to do with my preschoolers. Here are 4 more of my favorite books to read to our students when we talk about what it looks like, feels like, sounds like when we're being good friends. This is a new one. I just got this in my Scholastic order yesterday, and lucky for me, it was one of mine, not one of my students, and I read it, of course, last night after I did the video with the Scholastic books, and I fell in love. I was like, could this be any more perfect? I think I didn't know exactly what it was about when I ordered it, but hello, this book is adorable. It's in Scholastic this month, or maybe it's October. I don't know, they all came in the same box. It's called Strictly No Elephants. Now you wouldn't think this was a friendship book, right? It is. In this story, the little boy has a tiny elephant for a pet. It's so sweet. It looks like this, it says. It would help if I started on the first page. The trouble with having a tiny elephant is, for a pet, is that you never quite fit in. No one else has an elephant. And you can see in this picture all of the kids with their pets. So this one has a bird, there's a cat, this one has a goldfish, some dogs, and it's the same picture that's on the back of the cover. Every day I take my elephant for a walk. He is a very thoughtful sort of walk. His is a very thoughtful sort of walk. He doesn't like the cracks in the sidewalk. I always go back and help him over. That's what friends do. Lift each other over the cracks. And of course, we'll read the book one time and then kind of go back and talk about what does it mean in our classroom to lift each other over the cracks? Are you actually going to lift your friend over the crack? But no, if there's something they're scared of, you can hold their hand and help them, right? So it says, today I'm walking my tiny elephant to number 17. It is Pet Club Day and everyone will be there. So there they all are with their pets, all cats and dogs. Come along, there's a good boy. I coax him the last few feet. It'll be fine. When I look up, there is a sign on the door. Strictly no elephants. My tiny elephant leads me back to the sidewalk, never minding the cracks. That's what friends do. Brave the scary things for you. Anyway, look how sad they look. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but they come across, you should read the whole thing, but I'm not going to read the whole thing because I picked up 5 books to share with you today. And there's this little girl and she said, did you go to the pet club meeting too? I said, yes, but they don't allow elephants. And the girl says, the sign didn't mention skunks, but they wouldn't let us in either. So I said, they don't know any better. And so the little girl, how sweet is this? She's like, he doesn't stink, the girl says. And the boy says, no, he doesn't. What if we make our own club? And then they come together with all of the kids and their crazy pets. There's a kid with a hedgehog, a kid with a narwhal, a kid with a giraffe. This kid's walking an armadillo. This one has a bat on a leash. And so then they all make their own pet club. So this story, I love to talk with them. That's what friends do, right? So they give the example, carrying them over the cracks or helping them brave scary things. And then it always says, that's what friends do. And we talk about that in our classroom. When someone is crying, we comfort them. We pat their back. We ask, are you okay? Can I do anything to help you? That's what friends do. And sometimes if we just give them the language, then they start to internalize it, right? And so we'll see it in our classroom. Somebody falls or somebody drops something and the other person helps them pick it up or helps them up. I'll say, oh, that's what friends do. That's it right there, I see it. And so when we notice it, we identify it, we give the language for it, they start to model it and they start to repeat it. And then we start to see it in our classroom over and over again. Here's another good one. I've got 5. All right, are you familiar with this one? This is called Be Kind by Pat Zietlow Miller. In this story, this is one better for your older kids. We read this with our pre-K students, and I don't think we'll probably read it with our 3-year-olds, with our younger students. But it's about this little girl named Tanisha, and she spilled her juice yesterday. All over her new dress. Everyone laughed. I almost did too. But my mom always tells me to be kind, so I tried. And then she goes through and she tries all these things to be kind. She said, I don't think it worked. I said, purple is my favorite color. I thought Tanisha would smile, but she ran into the hall instead. She came back, snack time was over. She put on her art smock and didn't look at anyone. We can talk about, how do you think she's feeling? She's sad, or maybe the word is embarrassed about the juice on her clothes. And so it talks through, the little girl is trying to think about, how can I be kind to Tanisha? How can I show her kindness? And she comes up with all of these different ideas. Should I let her borrow my sweatshirt? Should I paint a purple picture for her? And she thinks of all these ideas to try to be kind. At the end, she says, maybe I can't solve Tanisha's grape juice problem. Maybe all I can do is sit by her in art class and paint a picture for her, because I know she likes purple too. Maybe I can only do small things, but my small things join other small things that people do, and together they grow into something big. And that's what we talk about in our class. If you do something small to be kind, and I do something small, and she does something small, and he does something small, we put all those small things together and we have done something amazing in our classroom by being kind. So I love that one, be kind. 2 more. Are you familiar with Llama Llama and the Bully Goat? This is a super good one for younger kids. It rhymes, and everybody loves Llama Llama, right? Are you familiar with his red pajamas? So in this story, what's his name? Gilbert is a bully goat. So we've got Llama Llama and Gilbert, and it takes place in a preschool, which is perfect for our students. And the bully goat is not kind to Llama Llama and his friends. So it's very sing-songy and rhymey. Llama Llama, busy day, writing, counting, pictures, clay. Roll a pancake, draw the sun. Almost everyone has fun. Time for circle, time for song, time to clap and sing along. Kitty, rhino, sheep, and cat, I've read this a lot. Calf, llama, Nelly, and giraffe all sing songs in their own way. Moo and bellow, baa and bray. Llama Llama claps the beat. Gilroy, did I say Gilbert? Gilroy goat just points and bleats. Sheep goes baa and calf goes moo. Gilroy thinks they're silly too. That's not very kind. Llama Llama likes to sing. Gilroy laughs at everything. Llama sings out just the same. Gilroy says a not nice name. Teacher has some things to say. Calling names is not okay. Being mean is not allowed. Teacher says to stop it now. And it goes on. He's really not nice to Llama Llama's little stuffed llama on the playground. He throws him on the floor. And then, of course, Gilroy Goat has a full-out tantrum and has to sit for some time out with the teacher. Here he is, having a full-out tantrum. Gilroy snickers, laughs, and kicks. Gilroy tosses toys and sticks. Gilroy stomps on Llama's coat. Gilroy is a bully goat. And so they're just talking about how Gilroy is not being a good friend. And at the end, of course, there's examples of how they do start to play together and share their toys and say nice things. And Gilroy becomes a good friend. Of course, at the end, they wave goodbye and say, see you tomorrow. And the last one I want to share with you is a newish Pete the Cat book. It's called Pete the Cat and the New Guy. In this story, Pete and his friends notice that there's a new guy who's moved in across the street. And the new guy is so weird. He looks like a duck and a beaver put together. Let's see if we can find a picture of him. Oh, let's see. There he is. So here is the new guy. And they talk about, can you, can you juggle? So it's Gus, the new guy, Gus the platypus. And the squirrel says, can you climb trees? No, he can't climb trees. The frog asks, can you come play leapfrog and jump with me? No, he can't do that. The octopus asks, can you juggle? No, he can't do that. And Pete's like, don't be sad. You know, and it's typical. Don't be blue. There's something everyone can do. And let's see. Gus says, I can't juggle or jump or climb a tree. It is no fun around here for me. And so then at the end, Pete heard a groovy sound. It was coming from across the street. Gus was rocking to his own beat. Sweet, Pete said. Check out Gus the platypus. He found something cool he can do with us. So they all decide, of course, to play in a groovy band. So that's the thing we would talk about with our students. Every single person in this classroom has something that they're really good at. And if we all use our strengths and we all work together, we can make a really groovy band or really groovy class. With my, I know this is such a good one. And this of course has the free, this is not a song, it's a video, which you can just listen to like a book on, book on CD or an Audible book or whatever. But it comes with a little video of the book. I didn't let my kids watch the video, I just let them listen to it on my phone. But it's super cute, and of course if they're crazy about Pete the Cat, they're gonna love this one. The very last thing I did with my students, with my pre-K students, is we just made a little chart. Let's see if we can see it. It's called How to Be a Good Friend, and it's just a piece of, chart paper. And I just put a little clip art on there with a bunch of friends. And we just talked about, can we make a list of all the things we can do in our classroom to be good friends? What does it look like, sound like, feel like? And some of the ideas that the kids came up with: we can play with our friends, we can hold their hands, we can share, we can give them a high five in the morning, we can give them a hug, help them, say nice things to them, sit and read a story with them, ask, can I play with you? We could stand and paint with them. So even though they can't read, the reason I like to do these charts with my students is because it gets them talking, of course, and it shows them that print has meaning. You say something, I can write it down, and then we can read it again together. And it also serves as this list. They'll come over and pretend to read it like, oh, I can be a good friend, I can give high fives, I can hold hands, I can paint, I can say nice things. And so all of those things together help our students realize how important friendship and compassion and kindness and empathy are in the classroom. I've even had parents text me and email me this week just to say that they're hearing the stories about our lessons at home, that their kids are telling them some of the things we've learned, that they're sharing the books and the ideas and pointing out examples of friendship when they see it at home or out and about with their families, which just really warms my heart because it makes me feel like what we're doing is making an impact. It matters, and it's gonna change these kids in their really formative years, right? To be really awesome human beings, which is what I want. So anyway, that is, those are some ideas of good friendship books, activities, and a little art project. So I hope you have an awesome evening. I hope your week is going well. And as always, I hope you have fun playing and learning with your kids. Bye everybody, see you next time.